Hi, everybody. So today I'll give you an introduction to the Interchain Builders Program, kind of how we designed it, who it's for, and yeah, the Interchain Builders Program is the builders program for the Interchain and Cosmos ecosystem. First of all, about myself, a little introduction. I've been with Interchain since the end of last year, and ever since I've been working on the Builders program, designing its structure and the support models that we want to ship to teams. I myself don't have a direct background in blockchain. I studied art, ran an art gallery, and a business completely blockchain or web unrelated. But yeah, I'm in the space for almost a year now and learning. So yeah, today's agenda, we'll talk about the motivation and the why for the program, the program's mission, and then mainly today I want to touch on the structure and the design and the outlook. So let's get started. Yeah, being a blockchain founder is fun at the very beginning. It's exciting, you know, you have a vision, you want to get going, you want to build, and really quickly, early on, you'll come to realize that there's actually a lot of issues. And with these issues comes a lot of anxiety. And yeah, so obviously launching a blockchain network is not the same as launching a regular company. It hasn't been done a million times. There's a lot of implications that come along from really, you know, starting out and like actually launching mainnet, and even worse, issuing a token. So what happens, like these tough decisions, early on, you realize might have huge implications on your project, followed by uncertainty, followed by roadblocks. One of them I'll touch on now, just to give you an example. Very early on, you have to think about, okay, how should you incorporate a blockchain network, company, business? So what we aim to do at the Builders program is to kind of give you examples, give you best practices that we've seen before. Something just to give you an outline here. You want to think about what are the things you need to think about? You know, like what is it going to solve? What problems do you need to solve? Like such as one is in the higher outline, it's about legal liability for yourself, for your team members, in terms of taxations. This is a setup that we've seen before, just an example, there's different ways. So a lot of teams start out with starting a regular company, developer company. What is that for? It's where you start your centralized development of a protocol. You hire a team. It's there you collect the intellectual property to have it all in one place. So you have contracts with team members, NDAs, NCAs with contractors, but you'll also have to have it in place in terms of fundraising, as say, for example, investors do want to know where the IP is collected, is it secured, how does it work? Another step on the way is you want to register a token issuer. This is sure, as the name implies, you issue the tokens, but it's also in terms of fundraising, so you need to think about, or you should think about it relatively early. It's also, you need an investment company, right? You start talking to VCs, you really like get into contracts, depending on the structure, you want to sign a SAFT with them, a SAFT, a token warrant, whatever it is. You need a structure, an entity that will sign these contracts with the VCs. This would, for example, also give the VC the obligation and the promise to actually issue the tokens at a later stage, and essentially receive an investment. A third step, as an example, it's also really common to at some point have a non-profit and non-beneficiary foundation to actually decentralize the network. This entity then serves as a legal wrapper for, say, the DAO and for implementing decentralized governance, treasury management. It will hold the treasury, and later how these are connected. So usually this foundation would say, for example, get the tokens from the token issuer once they're launched, hold them in the treasury, and then in the end have service agreements with the DevCo. So don't want to get in too deep. Another one, of course, is for token issuance. You want to think of like, where do you want to, like, what are the jurisdictions? What is the criteria for jurisdictions where you want to issue your tokens? It's really likely not to be your own onshore jurisdiction where you live. So you want to think about what is there in terms of taxation, what are other regulatory environments or jurisdictions that have that in place? What about investor recognitions? Are investors comfortable, or do they know these places and like want to invest in companies that are located there? And also setup and running cost can be really different, as well as the setup time. Like some jurisdictions it might be a month, in others it might be half a year almost. So yeah, that was some detail just to give you an idea. Back to the actual program structure. So what the Builders program aims to do is, so yeah, we give structured support to teams building chains, help them with the complexity of all the topics that it entails, and help deal with some of their anxieties. Then the second part is navigating the ecosystem. As the Cosmos ecosystem is rather decentralized, or one of the most decentralized ones, it's also more difficult to navigate. So in terms of partnerships, infrastructure partners, we help you connect to them. And on the terms of technical support that we give, it helps us, enables us to understand better what do teams need, and how can we communicate that to the core contributors to really maybe implement certain features, upgrades. Yeah. So, who the Builders program is for. As mentioned, it's the Builders program of the Cosmos ecosystem. So it's for Cosmos SDK, Tendermint Core, IBC protocol using chains. It also includes CosmWasm. So this means we're helping really new chains. So either teams who are coming, who haven't even really started and who are exploring whether the Cosmos ecosystem is the right ecosystem for them to build. So really starting from the ground up. As I touched before, how should they incorporate? What are the best practices? What are fundraising strategies? And then, of course, Cosmos and IBC connected chains who need help with technical support, help with growth and adoption, or whatever support they need. And then chains building in other ecosystems who are either looking to migrate into Cosmos or who want to explore connecting to Cosmos via IBC. So the program design, so going high level to low level. So as of now, we have structured it into 6 parts or 6 segments, from going incorporation fundraising, token design and distribution, technical and product support, community governance, marketing and go-to-market strategy, and infrastructure and partnerships. And the idea is that below these high-level areas, there's a lot of details. So we don't want to tell anybody anything that they already know. So the whole idea of the structure of the program is sort of a plug and play. So to really be able to tailor the program specifically for teams, say you're more progressed, you already know what you need, say help with you need connections to validators, you need code reviews, you need, or newer teams, it might be you need a pitch deck review, or you need you want to get to know some investors and expand your network. You can really plug and play what you need to make this effective. And lastly, quickly about the program structure and how we're working with teams right now. So if you're interested in being part of the program, you can apply through our landing page, join.builders. You'll find an application form. This application form isn't about a hard yes or no, and we look at this and decide whether you're fit for the program. It's more for us to learn what you do, have a little bit of an outline before we jump on an introduction call with you. So going from there, we'll get an interaction call, and from then on evaluate what questions we need to ask, how we can learn more about your program, and after that have a couple deep dives, meaning this is also individual again, so with some projects who are more progressed, who really know what help they need, we can jump right in. With younger projects or more beginning projects, this might even take 1 or 2 or 3 sessions for us to really learn and understand what stage they're at, how we can help them the best, and where do they need to get to. So that's sort of the onboarding, and then coming to the building phase. Once we've figured that out, with the teams, we'll set up a milestone and task list. It'll be accompanied by also individually, depending what a team needs, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly calls or follow-ups. Also async question answering, and deep dives on a couple topics that might be of interest, and have like sort of workshop sessions. So on another note, as we're on the outlook, we're onboarding more and more teams, and the Knowledge Hub I presented you earlier with all the different little modules, we will be open sourcing that in the future. So as we go, this will be published on our website, on blogs. As our knowledge is for free. Our time, unfortunately, is a little limited. So that's the future outlook, what we're working on. So visit us at join.builders if you want to learn more. There's also an FAQ, which might answer some of your questions. And then also, in case if you're an investor, market maker, custodian, validator, also feel free to get in touch with us and start working together, as we're working with new teams, and we love to connect you. That's it.
Do we have questions? I actually had one. Can you talk about some of the common mistakes you see the teams making when they spin up? Like particularly you talked about when new chains are starting and the legal structure and all this stuff. You talk about some of the big things to avoid.
What we really see is that what I touched on in the beginning, especially the legal structuring, the whole, what a lot of teams or new teams don't really know or see is like, if you make a map, I had that in there before, but it was just way too confusing, is really when you should start thinking about your legal structure in relation to when you want to launch your token. Or start fundraising, right? It's like, say you start your fundraising process right now, you want to talk to investors right now, but then you don't even have or thought about having set up a company that will actually receive the investment and sign the SAFT token warrant with the investor. So imagine you have the investor on the hook, but this is not cleared out. And that's something, for example, we've been seeing, because it's not that clear, especially as it's different from Web 2. You are issuing a token, so it's not the usual equity raise that you would normally have. So that's one thing.
Thanks. Yep. Sorry, I saw that one before.
Just a quick question. Are you guys going to be working with ICS, Interchain Security?
Yes, we will be.
Okay.
So we'll, once that is more progressed and actually launched, we'll educate teams on how interchain security works. And as we're within Interchain and we can also work closely with the hub team, we'll help teams, like whether it's an option for them, if it makes sense, and then also help them onboard to Interchain security and tell them how it works.
Cool.
Yeah.
And do you also help for a project that is not a Cosmos chain, but like a smart contract with a DAO on a Cosmos blockchain?
Yes. Yeah. These are also like with everything within the then I assume it would be using IBC, for example.
Like it's a Cosmos smart contract
exactly.
with DAO.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks so much.